Greetings, kindred friend. Imagine standing in the middle of a forest during the late days of autumn. The foliage is no longer the lush green of youth. Instead, it is turned into brilliant gold and proud crimson. The world looks on and often sighs. The forest is fading. But nature smiles, signaling that this is when the forest is at its most magnificent and richest. Our lives are much like that forest. The society out there often whispers in your ear that when old age arrives, you should withdraw, speak less, live more quietly, and prepare to step aside to make room for new things. They view age as the gradual fading of a story. But have you ever wondered, what if old age is not a slow decay, but the beginning of the greatest awakening of your life? In the profound wisdom of the Buddha, old age does not carry the meaning of loss. It is the season of clarity, the time when the distractions of youth subside to reveal the shining gem of wisdom. Engrave this truth into your heart. Old age is not the closing of your life. It is the ripening of your wisdom. In the still space of tonight, I invite you to walk through 6 precious lessons from Buddhism to rediscover peace, insight, and the ultimate meaning of this journey. Stay with me until the end of the video, so you may realize that you are not fading away with the years. You are simply preparing to shine in the most sacred way. Lesson 1. Loosening the hands, the art of relief. In the journey of practice, the Buddha taught that the root of all exhaustion is attachment. We often mistakenly believe that holding on is a manifestation of strength, but the reality is quite the opposite. Dear friend, understand this truth. Letting go is not weakness. It is courage. Notice how the laws of nature are silently helping you as age comes. Time is gently taking away unnecessary material possessions, the flashy ambitions that once kept you awake at night, and social relationships that only drained your energy. This is not a deprivation, but a benevolent clearing by the universe, so that you have enough space for peace. Imagine your mind as a room that has stored belongings for over half a century. That room is currently filled with old and heavy items, regrets about a wrong decision in the past, simmering resentment towards someone who once hurt you, and harsh expectations that everything should have gone your way. Do you see yourself exhausted when having to sleep every night in a space so cramped and dusty with memories? At this very moment, I invite you to honestly ask your heart, what am I still carrying that no longer serves my peace? Which memory is making my soul feel heavy every night? True healing does not begin with acquiring more, but with shedding more. Tonight, I invite you to perform a small practice ritual. Try to forgive someone, even if only in silence, to release yourself from the bond of resentment. Tomorrow, try to give away an item you no longer use, to let your living space breathe. And most importantly, allow yourself to say no to responsibilities that do not belong to you. Engrave this reminder into your heart. The less you hold on to, the more lightly you walk through the world. Let today pass away completely, so your shoulders may be light and your soul may freely sink into a sleep without preoccupation. Lesson 2. Clarity and Protection. The Temple of Peace. Dear friend, look back at the years of youth that have passed. Did we once live in a tangled web of social obligations? For fear of being left behind, for the obsession with loneliness, we tried to open our hearts to everyone. We let the doors of our souls stay wide open, allowing anyone to enter, bringing with them the noise, the judgments, and their own troubles. In the Buddhist tradition, we often mention the concept of Sangha, a community of virtuous friends who support each other toward awakening. But as you step into the harvest season of life, wisdom will teach you that kindness does not mean allowing every energy source the right to invade your inner being. Understand this powerful truth. Not everyone deserves access to your peace. Tonight, when all external noises have died down, I invite you to spend a moment reviewing the connections in your life. Quietly ask your heart, who is adding vitality to me? And who is silently draining my energy? You are no longer at the age where you must prove yourself or please the world. Your time now is golden, and your stillness is sacred. Allow yourself to be selective. Keeping your distance from those who constantly sow negativity is not selfish. It is a noble act of self-respect. Practice this affirmation as a shield for your soul. If it costs my peace, it is too expensive. Bravely close the door to external disturbances so your inner home truly becomes a sanctuary of bliss. Tonight, you only need to be present for yourself and for those who truly cherish your light. Lesson 3. Returning home, the power of the present moment. Dear friend, try looking at your hands at this very moment. Do you realize that our minds are rarely truly in the same place as our bodies? We live our whole lives like exhausted travelers, our minds always carrying two heavy suitcases, one filled with fragments of the past, which is now only a memory, and one filled with the anxieties of the future, which is only imagination. The truth is, the past has flowed away like a river that never returns, and the future still lies behind the fog of things that have not happened. Only the present is the sole ground of reality for you to breathe and feel life. The Buddha once taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. For an audience in their twilight years, when the fund of time becomes limited, presence is no longer a technique, but a salvation. It is time for you to stop being a guest in your own life. I invite you to practice the art of mindful living, even in the smallest tasks of tomorrow. Imagine the moment you pour a cup of tea in the morning. Listen to the sound of the water trickling against the bottom of the cup. Watch the white steam rising mistily, and feel the warmth spreading through your fingertips. Do not let your mind run back to a conversation from 10 years ago, nor let it worry about next week's medical checkup. When you drink tea, truly be there with the tea. When you walk, even if it is just a few steps on a wooden floor or on green grass, feel the contact of the soles of your feet with the compassionate Mother Earth. As you sit still in the darkness now, feel the steadiness of your shoulders and the calm beat of your heart. You will realize a silent miracle. When you are truly present, all fears will automatically dissolve because fear cannot exist in the brilliant light of now. Engrave this truth into your heart. Life happens in this breath. Tonight, allow yourself to come home. Anchor your mind in the breath rising and falling in your chest. Let the past rest and let the future wait. Right now, under this cool moonlight, you are safe, you are whole, and you are truly living. Take a deep breath to water awareness into every cell and feel peace beginning to sprout in your heart. Lesson 4. Impermanence, the dance of transition. In the wisdom of the Blessed One, there is a core concept called anicca impermanence. Look back at the flow of your own life. Your body is changing every second. The muscles that were once strong have now softened. The skin that was once taut now bears the marks of time. Relationships are the same. Some people come, some leave. Some familiar figures are now only memories. Even your identity from an ambitious youth to a responsible adult, and now a soul returning to rest, all are turning without ceasing. The greatest pain of old age often comes from our attempts to keep everything standing still. We want an eternal spring, when autumn has already knocked on the door. But dear friend, let me give you an ultimate liberating secret. You are not the changes happening to this body. You are the awareness that is silently witnessing those changes. Imagine the 4 seasons of the earth. Youth is the brilliant and passionate spring. Middle age is the bright and vital summer. The maturity of old age is the autumn, magnificent in its golden contemplation. And now, at an advanced age, you are entering the winter of life. Western audiences often fear winter because of the cold, but in the spirit of meditation, winter is the most sacred season. It is when trees shed all their cumbersome leaves to withdraw to their core, preparing for a new rebirth. Winter is not the end. It is the deep and necessary rest for life to be refined. Tonight, when you feel an ache or an anxiety about old age rising, I invite you to perform a small practice of wisdom. Instead of fighting or complaining, Take a deep breath, smile at that sensation, and whisper, "It is changing," and that is beautiful. When you utter this sentence, you are sending a signal of peace to your nervous system. You are no longer a victim of time. You become a wise witness. It is impermanence that makes this life strangely precious. Imagine if a rose never faded. It would only be a mindless plastic flower. Because the flower will wither and fall, its fragrance at this moment becomes so sacred. Dear friend, your old age is the most brilliant sunset moment before the sun goes down. Do not fear the darkness, for only in the darkness can you see the stars. Allow the body to age, allow the memories to drift away, and let your soul be at ease in the eternal change of the universe. The moment you accept that nothing is forever, you will find a peace that is also forever. Lesson 5. Gratitude. Sourcing the joy of serenity. Dear friend, we have spent most of our lives living in a culture that worships productivity. The modern world always whispers to us that a person's value lies in what they produce or what they own. When entering the twilight years, after leaving work and the races for fame, many of us fall into a silent complex, the feeling of becoming less valuable because we no longer produce as many results as before. We begin to look at life through the lens of lack of health, lack of attention, lack of future plans. However, Buddhist wisdom invites you to perform a revolution in consciousness, shifting from a scarcity mindset to a gratitude mindset. The Buddha taught that happiness does not lie in accumulating more, but in the ability to recognize the conditions for happiness that are already present. While society teaches us how to pursue joy, meditation teaches us how to recognize joy. Engrave this soothing truth into your heart. Happiness is not a destination you must strive to reach. Happiness is the recognition of what is existing right now. Tonight, I invite you to practice a small ritual before sleep, a habit that helps water your soul to become rich. As you lie still under the covers, quietly name 3 things you cherish today. Do not look for the extraordinary. Find magic in the simplest things. A warm cup of tea in the afternoon, the sound of birds chirping by the window when the sun comes up, or simply the soft feeling of the pillow supporting your head. When you begin to recognize these small things, a biological miracle happens. Your nervous system shifts from threat-seeking mode to safe enjoyment mode. You are signaling to your brain, "I am safe. I am sufficient. I am loved by life itself." In the language of the enlightened, there is a concept called sukha, a deep and quiet joy. Unlike the noisy excitement of youth, sukha is a type of joy that needs no external reason. It is like a pure underground stream flowing silently beneath the earth, always there to nourish you regardless of how dry the world outside may be. Tonight, let gratitude open the door leading you into that stream of sukha. You are no longer one who is aging in loss, but a soul that is becoming wealthy in the fullness of the present. Let the thoughts of gratitude wrap around you like a warm cocoon, bringing you into sleep and absolute relief. You do not need to do anything to become worthy. Just by recognizing the beauty of what you have, you are already the wealthiest person in this world. Lesson 6. Compassion, the immortal legacy of a human life. Dear friend, standing in the golden autumn of life, there is a question that often silently knocks on our hearts every late night. In the end, what do I leave behind for the world? In a world that worships achievement tables and numbers, we easily fall into the complex that we haven't done enough, haven't reached flashy peaks to be recorded. But Buddhist wisdom gives you a relieving truth. Your true legacy does not lie in what you accumulate, but in what you have given away through empathy. Compassion, also known as karuna, is not something far off or saintly and hard to touch. It is simply the ability to recognize your own pain and that of others with a non-judgmental heart. Tonight, before speaking of compassion for the world, I invite you to start by practicing compassion for your closest friend, which is yourself. Quietly ask yourself an awakening question. Would I ever speak to those I love in the harsh, reproachful tone I often use to speak to myself? Have you been tormenting yourself for old mistakes, feeling insecure about an aging body, or blaming yourself for unfinished things? Dear friend, if you cannot be kind to yourself, you will never have enough resources to be fully kind to the world. Tonight, allow yourself to be forgiven. Embrace the once wounded version of you with the tolerance of a mother. Whisper, "I have tried my best, and that is enough." When the fountain of love within has been cleared, I invite you to extend those arms to everyone around you with a simple meditative practice, just like me. Tomorrow, when you meet a person who is hot-tempered, a child, who is busy to the point of being thoughtless, or even a stranger who is sorrowful, take a deep breath and whisper, "Just like me." This person also wants to be happy. Just like me, this person is also carrying their own secret burdens. The moment you see yourself in others, all resentment and separation will vanish. You no longer see yourself being left behind, because you realize we are all walking the same path of birth, old age, sickness, and death, and we all yearn for a peaceful anchor. Engrave this final truth into your heart. People remember how you made them feel. Your old age, therefore, is not the time to withdraw into loneliness. It is the time you become a soothing energy source, a lighthouse of compassion. The greatest legacy you leave for your children and grandchildren is not wealth, but the image of a grandfather or grandmother who is aged in gentleness and understanding. Tonight, let compassion cover you like a soft silk blanket. Sleep in absolute reconciliation with yourself and the universe. You have nothing left to prove, nothing left to fight for. You are simply a loving presence, resting to prepare for a morning radiant with humanity. Now, as the boat of your mind prepares to sink deep into sacred rest, I want to give you a final confirmation. Old age is not an end, but a profound new beginning. It is the level of life where you are no longer obscured by vain noises, but begin to live by the breath of wisdom. Engrave this final truth into your heart before drifting into dreams. Aging is not the sunset of life, but the time when the inner light begins to shine most brilliantly. If the teachings of the Buddha tonight have brought a bit of warmth and light to your soul, please help me spread this good energy by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. That is how we together build an awakened community, where every kindred friend finds the way back to themselves. Wish you a long night of peace, complete letting go, and a morning awakening, radiant in the rebirth of the soul. Greetings, and see you again in the next journeys of awakening.